Mr Speaker.
Clayton Mitchell.
Good afternoon to you, sir, and congratulations to you, Mr Coates, for your first speech in the House post your maiden speech, and that was a good contribution. And, sir, Mr Speaker, we do also support this bill going through the first reading to Select Committee, but we do support it with some reservations, sir. And we want to really underline that because our continued support will really be determined by the outcome of the discussions in Select Committee, hearing from those vested groups and those affected people. There are a potential number of points that could be quite contentious. However, New Zealand First sees the pragmatism of this dragging this government into the 21st century now that we're 16 years into it, and it's certainly a good prospect for the future, sir. But if I could start, I guess, by giving an articulation of the bill, sir, I do think the Minister Dunn has done a great job this afternoon of actually putting that quite plainly and simply, but let me see if I can do the same thing. The bill is an omnibus bill. It does project itself over three ministries. You've got the Department of Conservation, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and the Department of Internal Affairs, which this has been headed through, sir. And the whole idea is about connecting people and businesses better with government departments, and that obviously is through the digital age, through the Electronic Interactions Reform Bill, which we have here in front of us. So, on the surface, it does seem rather innocuous. It's not till you actually delve down into it that you actually see some of these problems. The bill is actually broken into four parts, the part one being the enabling electronic applications, sir. Now, on the surface of things, we don't have too much umbrance with that. Of course, the amendments of the birth, deaths, marriages and relationships registration, simply the registration of a name change to provide a statement that is verified electronically as an alternative to the existing requirements to provide a statutory declaration, which is Clause 4 in amending Part 21A. The subpart 2 in Part 1 amends the Civil Union Act of 2004 and permits notices of intended civil unions to be given and verified electronically, sir. That does make sense. And then, of course, we've got subpart 3 amends the Marriage Act of 1955 and amends Clause 19 and Section 9 to permit applications for approval as an organisation that may solemnise marriages to be made electronically and any signatures to an application to be verified electronically, sir. It's part 2 of the bill which gets into the enabling use of electronic identity, photographs for identity cards, licensing in public registers, where we have some concerns, and we certainly look forward to the submissions and through the Select Committee process, sir, because just this morning on the morning report at 7 a.m. there was a situation, although not directly related, it relates insofar as an identity was stolen from a picture on Facebook and used on a Russian website of a dating site. Now, the person's photo that they used was a New Zealand woman. Her name was not given, and I don't blame her for not wanting to give that name out. This is the sorts of activities that are going, and through the internet is made very, very easy. And although the internet is making our lives a lot easier in some respects, it opens up some serious security problems, because the access of information and the use of photographs and the use of people's information and data to obtain fraudulently things that they might want to get, passports and so forth, becomes a lot easier. So we want to make sure that the provisions that this bill actually has prevents that from happening. And I note that Mark Mitchell has brought forward a couple of points, that it's new offences that have been brought into this bill, but whether or not they go far enough, sir, we'll be certainly scrutinising more closely. That is certainly a part that we have some serious problems with. In the DIA, as I've already mentioned, amendments to allow certain services offered by birth, deaths and marriages, the removal of some restrictions on the use of photographs stored in the IVS or identity verification services, providing consent of the subject of the photo is given. And again, consent is given, but you need a person to verify that that consent is ongoing. So whether you use your thumbprints, you have a live feed where a person on the other end can actually say, right, this is you, let me see your photograph, let's take that photograph now and let's put it into the system. Other than that, sir, we could be opening ourselves up for a can of worms. The second part is what it deals with MB, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, and amendments that relate to requirements to appear before government agencies in certain proceedings can be done via video conferencing. So that is a pragmatic way of getting through workload and making sure that we can get some positive outcomes. But the second part is a serious concern here, and if I could just turn to part 3, sir, on page 7 of the bill here. And it says giving evidence and notice by electronic means. The giving evidence we don't have umbrance with, but clause 45 amends section 102 to permit notices or other documents to be served or given by email. A notice or document that is emailed to a person is to be treated as received on the second working day after emailing, unless the person proves otherwise. So this is a situation where you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent, sir. If an email is sent, and I can give you dozens of occasions where people have sent me emails and it's been 10 days before it's actually come through on my computer, and it could be just that the good service has fallen over once again, or it could be a number of other issues that your computer system's having, and you won't know. And now it's up to you to prove it. Now, sir, I and we at New Zealand First have some difficulty in accepting that you have to prove your innocence in a situation because somebody sent you an email. Then I'm sure through the select committee process that some of these issues can be ironed out, but that is certainly another part that we have some difficulty in working through. And of course, when we go into part 4, sir, it's a good position to take with regards to enabling electronic licensing and electronic voting. It certainly is the way of the future, and it has been discussed for over a decade now about the future of voting online, and to be able to enable this through the Department of Conservation might be a sound step forward in the right direction. Proposing amendments relating to the online sale of game hunting licences, sir. Again, we would not want to see hunting licences not being able to be gained practically by going into your hunting store and gaining that licence, but enabling a easier access to those hunting licences online certainly does make sense, and New Zealand First would be supporting that. Voting and fishing on game councils, I've already touched on, there is very, very little issue with that, although with you've got your VPN numbers with regards to your computer, there are ways of fudging those voting figures, and that would need to be looked at through the select committee process, because we certainly wouldn't want to see people voting more than once online, which you can do. I couldn't do, sir. I don't know how to do that, but I certainly could find the people that know how to do that. So this is a good bill, I think, sir, that needs to be pulled apart and put back together. I'm sure there'll be some opportunities to amend some of these shortcomings of the bill. The idea is sound, but again, New Zealand First will be supporting this through to Select Committee, but whether we can continue with that support, we would like to leave that open for discussion and seeing what solutions for some of those problems that we have outlined here today can be made. Thank you, sir.
Speaker.
Brett Hudson.